Pursuing an international basketball career will lead athletes all over the world. For Brazilian Bruno Machado, it's led him to Wyoming and southern Colorado. Would you like a do-over?
Yeah, I mean, it was a rough start. I mean, first in Salt Lake, Utah, redshirted there, and I mean, I didn't expect to redshirt, but it was good, to get to know the culture and stuff like that. And then moving to Cheyenne, Wyoming, like, there's not much out there, so. But I had my brother there with me, Rodrigo, so, that made things easier.
That's what's fun about giving you a hard time because you're happy where you're at.
Yeah.
You're glad to be at Adams State. It's just looking at how a lot of international players pursue American institutions. They go for bigger cities and bigger locations. But those are the stories that are most often disclosed and discussed. But guys like you, Rodrigo Silva, Vinicius Novaes, your two teammates all from Brazil, you've had to take a different path. Explain how an international player goes about pursuing junior college and then Division II basketball.
I mean, at first, like everybody has that dream, like play the big league, play in the big gym with, like the big schools with like 40,000, 50,000 students. But I mean, I grew up like my high school, junior high and stuff like that. There was only 200 students. So, it's not a big deal to me going to a small school, but at least like, here I have all my friends, like people in tower, like receptive, like friendly. And I mean, that's all I care about. As long as I have my education, like still being able to play basketball, that's all I care.
It's a balancing act and one that I think it takes international players a little bit to figure out. How do you do school, athletics, and then work? You've kind of come in trying to figure out all of them. You want to stay and work in Colorado in the off season next year. How hard is it to go back in the off season, looking at how expensive it is to fly back to South America, and then what goes into trying to find an American job that suits you on a very short-term seasonal basis?
I mean, summer jobs are mostly like just to make some extra money because I mean, I work during the season anyway through work study, but that's mostly to pay my expenses here, like food and, living. But summer jobs are pretty much to make extra money and whatever I can get, like with some connections that I've made throughout the years. Like last year I worked for Comcast, like made some money and was still able to go back for a month in Brazil. So, I mean, that's good. So as long as I get a job and, like be able to make some extra money, I'm happy with it.
It's Bruno Machado with the Adams State men's basketball team. Now break down your role with Comcast because it's an absolute detriment to society if somebody as charming and outgoing as you isn't working in sales. But what were you doing with Comcast?
Pretty much, the cable guy works, just go do the security for cables and, like sometimes have to go over fences, run from dogs and stuff like that, and like had some unpleasant moments where like people called the cops on me, and I was like, like what am I gonna do? Like, damn, like I have like my work visa, and like people don't believe me because like at first, like the first 2 weeks I didn't have a badge for Comcast, so this guy's like, oh no, you don't, like, oh that's a scam, you're like trying to scam me, like. And like pretty much what we did was we did the security for the cable, see if everything was working, and we offered them a free upgrade for a year. I mean, the guy would get another 150 channels and like all the HBO channels and high speed internet for free, and they would be like, oh no, that's too good to be true.
You come in there, you're a foreigner out here in American soil.
Yeah, and they would realize I'm a foreigner, like they would be like, oh no, that's definitely a scam, man. Like there's even this funny story, like the guy called the cops on me, and I just left the condo that I was working on, and as soon as I get out on the street, I see this cop, and he passes by me, and I look in the mirror, and like he's turning back to me. Like he pulls me over and start talking to me and like, oh, and then I have my Brazilian driver's license, so I just give it to him, and he's like, oh, you're not from here, are you? Like, no. And then he goes back to, oh, just wait here, and then he goes back to his car. He comes back and oh, the reason why I asked you if you're not from here, because I'm not from here either. It's like, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Brazil. So I found a Brazilian cop that pulled me over, and like, I mean, that was funny because like he just let me go and stuff, but he was cool at the same time.
It all makes sense for me right now. Looking at you and you're a real chill, low-key guy, it's hard to fluster you when you've had to experience a very simple summer job that should not be a problem, working for a Fortune 500 company, and you've had these issues to deal with. It must really mellow you out. So when you look at your approach to day-to-day life here and working at 5 in the morning with the basketball program, trying to learn a new team, a new system, how have you really balanced all that and kept a really even keeled and mild-mannered temper about all of it?
I mean, you have to adapt. Like that is one of my biggest things. Learning how to adapt. Like you even said, like waking up at 5 in the morning. Like that stuff. Like I, I think the earliest I woke up, like in 4 years, was like 7 a.m. To go to a class or something. But it's all about adaptation. Like even you said, working on Comcast. Like finding unpleasant people that don't believe you, and like I mean, I believe everybody. Like if you tell me, like Jesus just gave you $1, I'll believe you. Like unless like you prove me wrong, I'll believe you no matter what. So that was crazy. Like you find people like like are that worried about like people like trying to scam you and take advantage of you. So I mean, it's all about adaptation, and I've been successful with that.
That's tough when you have to bring your passport around when you're not traveling just to go and service a cable company. It is interesting, though, too, being from Brazil in an era where the persona and worldwide perception of Brazil has just jumped drastically. Your coaches, your assistant coaches, Ryan Dodd, Jeff Monaco, we've heard both of them say, either World Cup in 2014 or the Olympics in 2016, they want to go. I think we've uncovered a secret plot to recruit Brazilian players just so they have connections. How accurate do you think this is?
If they want to come, I'll only be more than welcome to have their at my house. I mean, they will have to pay for their own way because working as a janitor, it doesn't give you much money to sponsor that trip like that. But I mean, like Brazil has been great, like on the worldwide scene. It just grew up so much, and like I'm glad to be part of all of that, and I'll be happy to go back one day and like grow a family there or something like that.
I mean, every Brazilian I think that anyone has encountered, they realize they're easygoing, a lot of fun, and it's hard to get you guys rattled or upset. You're just all about life and living it to the fullest.
Yeah, I mean, I at first like when I was a kid, I was pretty, I would get upset with anything, and then, as I said, it's just all about adapting and, growing with yourself and learning from life experience. Getting mad is not gonna take you anywhere, so just be cool and take what you got.
Bruno, it's going to be fun to have you along for this 2013 Adams State season. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
It's Bruno Machado with the Adams State men's basketball team. This is KSPK's Grizzly Connect.